What's up supporters, Avian here. Because of all of the changes to all the supports in Season 4, I've decided to make this video. Click on the support you want to go see and then you'll find some information on it. If you disagree about this information or you think there's any other differences, then let's talk about them in the comments. Leave a comment and we'll talk whether the build could be changed or the items that should be different, etc. Good luck, thanks for watching. So I tend to play Alistair as a utility tank. The reason being is because I can do a lot of disengaging and sort of peel for my AD carry with this build and masteries. So I would suggest these. Obviously with your scale order, if you need to max E first because you need the extra heal, do so, but otherwise take Q for the further damage. Any support is pretty much a kill lane. This is the reason I've sort of chosen these runes and masteries and items. Now I would take exhaust if the enemy has an assassin, but otherwise I want to run ignite. As for the masteries, I've said 9, 12, 9. However, if you think that the extra movement speed in the utility tree going 21 points in there is going to help you, definitely go and get that. But for your item build, you want to stick to getting kills. So this is why I've chose this build. If you have any questions about it, as always, leave a comment. For Blitzcrank, I also play him as a utility tank, maxing Q first, then W, then E. My build is pretty much tanky and dependent on the enemy team, so if I need extra sort of defense against AD items, I'll take those, and if I need extra AP defensive, I'll take the Banshees. The reason I have taken exhaust here is because I like to lock down the target when I grab them. There's nothing that stops you taking ignite if you want to kill lane, but if the enemy has any assassins or anything, definitely take exhaust. Now I play Fiddlesticks either as utility or AP. Utility basically relies on your fear and your item kit to peel for your AD carry, or if you're AP you can do pretty good stuff with your ult, but Zhonya's Hourglass is sort of a requirement if you take this approach. If you're against any sort of assassins or anything, take exhaust, if not take ignite if you want to kill lane. In the lane, as I say, max E if you want to poke down an enemy that doesn't have any sustain, Q if you're against a hard lane, and just take a point in W whenever you need the sustain. Any questions about this build, leave a comment. Now Janna's pretty much my main, so I kinda know what I'm talking about with her. My playstyle with Janna's very much, I can either go and play aggressive and max W first in lane, or I can sit back completely out of the enemy's range and I can go and get certain items like Majaz Soul Stealer because I have no intention of being anywhere near the danger because my positioning is constantly in a safe place. This is why I've also said that you can't take heal, because if you're not going to get close enough to use exhaust and ignite, take that heal, but if the enemy has assassins, definitely take the exhaust and continue to peel for your AD carry. Now due to the Season 4 changes, Leona can be played as sort of 0-13-17, or you can even go full tank 0-21-9. I usually take exhaust because it helps me lock down the enemy, but if I'm sure that I want to get a kill lane, ignite isn't a bad option. I would always take exhaust versus an assassin, like I keep saying this to you guys. The build's pretty much standard for supports who are playing tank. If no one on your team's getting locket, go and get that, otherwise there's the options there. Now the scaling order is always the same. Now for Lulu, I would usually take Mastery 0921 because I like playing her as utility. You can get AP on her, but it's not my first choice. Now for the runes, hybrid penetration, because I like to be quite aggressive in lane and I usually max Q if I'm going to do that. However, if you're losing, you can max E. For your items, I usually follow something along those lines, and if the jungler isn't getting it, I'd probably consider buying a locket. Any questions about Lulu, as always, leave a comment. Now because of the changes in Season 4 allowing ability power to equal more utility, I think Nami's benefited the most, so I actually do like building some ability power on her, but I still love playing her as utility. So definitely take that flash and exhaust if you need to shut down an assassin, or ignite if you want to go for a kill lane. Aggressive lanes max E, otherwise if it's hard max W, and consider your item build pretty much based on what you feel like you want to do that game. Do you want to have stronger heals and a little bit faster movement speed on your passive? Take AP. Otherwise I go for the utility items because Mikkel's Crucible, Twin Shadows, amazing for engaging and amazing for saving somebody on your team. Now for Sona, I would usually run her as utility. However, let me explain. Flash and exhaust always if the enemy has an assassin. If you want to play a kill lane, fine, take that ignite. However, the items are quite interesting here. If you see on the alternative options, I've also listed that frozen fist there. The reason I've listed Iceborne Gauntlet is because I actually love using it. If you're in a late game, 45 minutes plus, and that's the final item you can buy, go for it, because it's incredible with the utility when you want to slow someone and peel for your AD carry. Usually I'd max Q if I want to play aggressive, or just let my AD carry farm because of the bonus AD. Otherwise I'd max max W for the extra sustain and defensive stats. Now for Soraka, I'd always play her as 0921 because she's very slow movement, so I like to have that increased movement speed. Flash and exhaust is generally what I do take because she doesn't have any escape, so the exhaust can be very good to defend yourself. However, if you do want to take her AP and go all aggressive, take Q at level 1 and take Ignite and go and start some tanky runes and masteries and go all in, you probably will win. However, item builds generally follow this. If your team hasn't got a locket, go and get one, and if there's any questions or any other suggestions that you guys have, leave them in the comments and we'll talk about them. Now for Tarek, I usually like to take him as initiation utility tank. So what do I mean by this? Mastery is 0921 because you can get that extra movement speed. However, somebody did suggest 0219. I haven't tried it yet, but if you want to do that, go do it. Your starting items, relic shields, wards and potions, and grabbing up what you need depending on the enemy team. If more AD, protection, if more AP protection, definitely take those items. Scaling order is pretty much the same every game. If you want to be tankier, take W. If you want more sustain, take Q, but always max R first and E last. Now Thresh can be played in two ways, as a tank 0219 or as I like to play it 0921. I like the utility in lane, I really do. The extra movement speed on getting lots of hooks off and stuff is incredible. I mostly take Ignite if I'm going for a kill lane. Most of the time with Thresh I am trying to because he's very strong and good at doing that. But if not, if they have any heavy assassins or anything, take that exhaust. Your scaling order is pretty much maxing E first if you want to play aggressive, or W first if you want stronger shields. I usually don't take Mikkel's Crucible on Thresh, but if it is sort of going to help and they have heavy CC, I would do so, and I would just build depending on the situation I was in. Now for Zyra, you can play her as a mage or a utility, depending on what your team needs. If you need more AP, then follow the instructions on screen, take the 9021 masteries and take Ignite probably. However, if you want to play a little bit more utility based, you can definitely start with that ancient coin, grabbing it up into the talisman for the speed boost for your team, getting the Mikkel's Crucible if you need it, and plenty of other options. Now for the AP, I would definitely grab those three items, the Elandra's Torment, Zhonya's Hourglass and Rabadon's Deathcap. There is other viable options, but I just prefer those. The boots are kind of up to you, whatever you prefer. I always max R, E, Q and then W when I'm in lane. Any questions about Zyra, as always guys, we'll discuss it in the comments, so just leave that below. So that's it. I hope you guys have learned something. If you have, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. But otherwise, if you have any questions or disagreements or anything you want to talk about, leave a comment and I'll speak to you there. See you later.